So far, so good today. Now, the National Theatre, and a very special moment for the Queen. The home of that great theatrical production, War Horse, which I understand the Queen is a great fan of. There it is on top of the National Theatre, and even the horse saluting. That moment has taken them 9 months to prepare. We certainly know what a passion she has for horses. I hope the Queen enjoyed that moment. The horse, the star of the show, if you like, is called Joey, and I understand she had a visit from Joey at Windsor a little while ago. There is Joey, just making his own little bow to the Queen and the rest of the guests on the royal barge. Now heading out towards the City of London, the real financial power of the country. Waterloo Bridge in the background, that was completed, this version of it, completed in 1944. Replaced John Rennie's internationally admired Stone Bridge, which opened in 1817. Westminster Bridge absolutely packed with people. The Dunkirk little ships just going past Westminster Palace. So we're back to Chelsea now, and the narrow boats. Absolutely fantastic, and the rain now is beginning to come down quite heavily. 43 narrowboats altogether and 20 barges. They've come from many parts of the UK and actually carry an impressive contingent of Lord Lieutenants representing the counties of Merseyside, Warwickshire, Worcestershire, Lancashire, Cheshire, Shropshire and Staffordshire.
Lovely to see the artwork on these vessels. The two in the background there have got really traditional sign writing on them, and so has this one in the foreground now. That sign writing signified the way these boats work.
When you consider the sort of network of canals that we've got all over this country, which really created the wealth of many parts of the country, didn't it?
Yeah, the narrowboats really carried on the commerce of the nation before we had railways and roads.
There you are, she's got a phone to her ear and she's saying, yes, I'm the one at the front waving.
It's great that the narrowboats are able to do this, because if it had been really windy they were going to get blown out, because they're not designed for seaway at all, and the Thames can get pretty rough, but we've been lucky with the weather.
Meanwhile, back at Westminster, and all the watermen absolutely delighted with the progress that the Spirit of Chartwell is making. Nobody has sat down, nobody's disappeared really off that top deck. Everybody wants to get a fantastic view. Well, the longest, or one of the largest pictures ever created on the side of the Sea Containers building, a picture of the Queen's Silver Jubilee celebrations. I hope that was a nice surprise for the royal party.
I was down on the water yesterday, and I have to say that picture is enormous. Enormous.
Well, I think instantly recognisable as the royal party at the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977, stretched right over the whole building face, almost 100 metres in width and 70 metres in height. Total weight of a couple of tons or thereabouts. The largest photograph ever of the royal family. That is one of the iconic sights, not just of London, but of the whole country, and some of the smallest boats in the whole pageant. Of course, these pictures going all over the world, not just to Commonwealth countries either. Some way ahead of them, HMS Belfast on the right-hand side, and well, we're going to mention this word time and time again, iconic, and Tower Bridge is about as iconic as it gets. Making very good progress indeed is the row barge. All the bells still ringing underneath Tower Bridge, and eventually the royal party will be tying up at HMS President, you just saw on the right-hand side of the screen there, which is home to the London division of the Royal Navy Reserve, and has been since 1988.
Well, we can see the belfry. It's just passed under Tower Bridge. Let me take you to meet you to someone really special. This is the bridge control room, and I'm going to introduce you to somebody who has an incredible job today. It's the Tower Bridge Master, Eric Southern. Eric, hello.
Afternoon,
and you're going to be raising the bridge, raising the bascules to let the flotilla through, and you're going to be raising the bridge in royal salute. Is that slightly higher than normal?
It's a full lift. It's a full lift every time for a royal salute.
Yeah.
Most ships don't need a full lift, and we can put the bascles wherever we want them. So we actually lift the bascles to suit the size of vessel, but the Queen gets the full lift come what may. We're already unlocked, so we're ready to go.
Ready to go. And is that the lever that you're going to be
pulling the lever, yes, and then the bascles will raise.
Now, you've done this many, many times before. Are you feeling hundreds? Are you feeling a little bit nervous today?
No, it's exciting, not nervous. It's an exciting day, and everybody's having lots of fun, and it just makes it that more special.
So nothing can go wrong?
Keeping our fingers crossed.
Can anything go wrong, though?
It could do. Anything can go wrong. We're working with a piece of machinery, but it's very reliable, and hopefully everything will go fine in a couple of minutes' time.
All right, well, I can see they're almost going to come through, so I'm going to get out of your way and let you get on with your job. Eric, good luck.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Off you go.
Well, those bascules will be moving very shortly. Of course, all of those craft totally and utterly dwarfed by HMS Belfast, which was commissioned in 1938, 91,000 tons, the largest cruiser in the Royal Navy. (1,200 tons each arm, if you like, or each drawbridge section of the Tower Bridge weighs. Can be raised to their fullest extent of 80 degrees in an amazing 60 seconds. And the dispersal now begins. A lot more boats to come through Tower Bridge, obviously, and they'll all be watched eventually by the Queen when she leaves the Royal Barge. But the weather really has deteriorated, Tom.
Yeah, the rain's coming down now, but mercifully it doesn't seem to have produced a lot of breeze to go with it. Interestingly, we've seen one or two smaller boats being taken in tow by the bigger ones, which was all part of the plan. There we go, look. And it's great to see what good spirits people are in, even when they're being towed. There's no sense of humiliation because there's no failure here. This has been a tough row into this east breeze. If it had been any more than this, they'd have had to scratch the event for the rowing boats, but they've muscled it out, and huge credit to them, even the ones that have ended up under tow.
I'm sure some of the active rowers, as we see one of the many music sections in the pageant, I'm sure a lot of the rowers would probably appreciate the tough challenge that lay ahead and will be very satisfied with what they've achieved so far.
Well, yeah, because these are not, most of these boats are not racing skiffs. Some of them are actually working boats that were built to carry stuff, which are really heavy to row. There's a Yorkshire cobble in there, and that's very heavy to row, I can tell you that personally. And there's a trow from the rivers of the Western England that was built to carry cargo. A very, very heavy load indeed to row.
A gentleman who received the Victoria Cross, Mr. Johnson Bahari. We've seen him on television a few times, but what an achievement, at some cost too, I have to say. But a VC holder aboard the Sapele. And the pageant is simply full of music. On board the Valula there, just one of the bands of Her Majesty's Royal Marines. There's a couple of bands on the river today. We heard them giving the Queen a fanfare a little while ago too. HMS Belfast is about to be flanked by the Royal Barge, and the Royal Barge is about to receive a very impressive salute from some of the personnel on board. Veterans and sea cadets on board HMS Belfast. What a sight. An extraordinary machine lifting an extraordinary road into the sky. Once again, the Royal Marines trumpeters.
Now, Jim, how was that to cheer the Queen just then and have her acknowledged HMS Belfast?
That was really wonderful. It's something that I never ever thought I'd see, but it's something that I'll always remember.
Now, Jim, you joined the Navy when you were 15 years old, and I was chatting to Jim earlier, and you told me some amazing stories. One when a torpedo hit your ship, you were thrown 60 feet into the air, dropped into the ocean, and then had to cling on to a dead shark until you were rescued. Was that enough to put you off diving?
No, I dived from 16 and a half until I was 85, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, it's lovely talking to you, Jim. John. Hello there, John. You're a little bit wet there, aren't you? Now, John, this ship is obviously a huge, huge ship, over 10,000 tonnes. But when it was out and you were serving on the ship, it was thrown around like a toy during its duties as the Arctic convoys.
At the time, she was 14,000 tonne, but since then the weight and the arm has been reduced on the ship, so that's why it's at 10,000. But many a time when we've been in the heavy seas, in the Barents Seas, on the Russian convoys, we were picked up. Just imagine, you see these high buildings, and there was rollers coming in on you. You think, oh God, she'll never get through that. But the old girl did, as we call her. You know, she did.
Have you enjoyed your day here today and cheering the Queen?
It's been fabulous. Never. I must reiterate what my colleague and shipmate here has said. Never in my wildest dreams do I ever see such a pageant as that. We've got a diamond pageant and we've got a diamond as a Queen.
We certainly have, John. Well, look, enjoy the rest of your day here today. And thank you very much, Jim, as well. Thank you, chaps. Thank you, gents.
Well, as you've probably seen, it's getting a little bit wet, and if it wasn't wet enough, we've got all the working ships coming through, a fire boat going there, spraying the crowd, having a great time. You've probably noticed that it's all slowed down a little bit. We've got a bit of a backlog coming through Waterloo Bridge here, as some of the rowers are just getting off the water towards Tower Bridge, but still a great atmosphere. Just look at them up there on the Pride of London, even in the kitchen. Can you see them down below in the kitchen? They may be making sandwiches, but they're still getting a good view up there. What a wonderful atmosphere. National Theatre over in the background. They're still enjoying it here. They are getting, I have to say, a little bit tight as they come through Waterbridge. The marshals are telling them to slow down, be a little bit careful. Some of them, though, are still managing to blow their horn rather loudly. But they have to be, on a serious point, be very, very careful as they come through here. It narrows down. But I don't think they're worrying about going too slowly through here. They're having a great time and enjoying the whole reception.
Meanwhile, the Royal Barge is just negotiating the river at the moment. Beautiful shot there. And how difficult is it going to be for them just to moor up to the side of HMS President, Tom?
Well, I'm watching this manoeuvring actually, Paul, and it's remarkable. This is a very well chosen vessel. What he's doing appears to be defying gravity. Actually, it's very impressive. The whole boat's going sideways. Good man. I wonder what he's got in the way of bow thrusters and things. I'd love to see.
Well, Albert Bridge is pretty much where we started. It was the first bridge that all of the pageant had to contend with as a Port of London Authority diver. I suppose that's the equivalent of the clear-up van, as they call it, at the end of the London Marathon. So HMS President completing the man and cheer to the Royal Barge and the Royal Family. Just at the side of the Tower Bridge there, another part of the Royal Squadron, the William B. So the royal party will be watching the remainder of the pageant from the first floor of HMS President. Well, I think the captain of that ship can be very pleased with his day's work. Beautiful pictures of a beautiful boat. Shame, such a shame, the weather has taken a turn for the worst, and it really has probably put a bit of a dampener on some of the things going on, but not all, that's for sure.
I can clarify, it's definitely raining, but we shall sing, because as well as being joined by the HMS Belfast veterans today, we've also got here the Fisherman's Friends. Hello, chaps. Now, this lot are a group of sea shanty singers from Port Isaac in Cornwall. Now, as the name suggests, I imagine a few of you are actually fishermen.
And friends as well, yeah. The four guys on the end are fishermen, and we're all very soggy friends today, but we're having good fun.
Have you had a lovely day watching the Queen go past the royal barge?
Oh, she turned and looked to us just as she went past. It gave us a little wave. It was fantastic. What a day.
We'd love to hear you do your thing. How long have you guys been singing together?
Nearly 20 years now, but you couldn't tell that from the way we do it, to be fair.
Well, you've definitely been keeping spirits up on board today, so thank you. All the veterans have been loving watching you sing along. So would you like to give us a blast now?
Yeah,
what are you going to sing for us?
We'll do South Australia for you.
Take it away.
In South Australia I was born. Heave away, haul away. South Australia, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, out rolling. Heave away, haul away up here we sing. We're bound for South Australia. As I went out one morning fair. Heave away, haul away. Was there I met Miss Nancy Blair. We're bound for South Australia. Heave away, haul away up here we sing. We're bound for South Australia. I shook her up, I shook her down. Heave away, haul away. I shook her and up.
Fabulous stuff. The weather certainly has deteriorated. When you consider the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and everything that she has seen and witnessed, and you go back through the record books, if you like, a compendium of everything that has happened during her reign, even back to 1953, the very first ascent of Mount Everest. They're celebrating the Diamond Jubilee next year. Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, his famous Sherpa. 1963, of course, the death of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas. The first supersonic airliner, Concorde, making its maiden flight in 1969. And, of course, in the same year, Neil Armstrong becoming the first man to set foot on the moon. From a sporting perspective, well, certainly the Queen has presided over many, many sporting events. 1966 was a red letter day when England beat Germany, and of course her daughter and granddaughter, indeed, great horsewomen during their lives, becoming European three-day event champions. So, and Princess Anne, of course, has maintained her connections with sport through the British Olympic Association and her association as a member of the International Olympic Committee. So if it hasn't been already, it's going to be a very, very busy year for her indeed, with London 2012. How many days away? Less than 60. It's around 53, 54 days left before the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Well, there are still many, many boats to come past HMS President. That is where the Queen will be for a little while yet, with her guests and the rest of the royal family. That's what everybody needs, a patriotic umbrella. But still great sights on the river, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, these are historic vessels, a lot of these, probably part of the National Historic Fleet. And the nice thing is that when it's raining this hard, when it's gone through your oilskins and it's dripping down your neck, at least you know skin is waterproof.
Just to the left is HMS Belfast as another section begins to make its way through Tower Bridge. We think it's the service steam and working vessels. Another fireboat there just paying tribute to the Queen. I don't suppose Tower Bridge has been up this long for many, many years. London Nautical School. Oh, goodness, the Shard. We did see it before. It was quite clear, so it gives you some indication as to the deterioration in the weather. But I guess when you're the tallest building in Western Europe, that's one of the downsides, isn't it? Now there's an interesting craft.
Yeah, well, that's the only hovercraft in the whole pageant, and she is supposed to be right at the end, Paul. So it looks like she's under tow. And there's Barnabas, the Cornish lugger, flying the biggest flag of the lot, the flag of Cornwall, very proudly. She's made a special mast for the occasion, because normally she's got big towering masts and a very powerful performer under sail. But right now she's got it lowered and she's flying a fine flag for the Queen. Yeah, a remarkable red ensign there on this one, but we've got, I think that, well, I'm not sure what that vessel is, I'm afraid, but she's flying a red ensign from the stern, which you would expect, little Union Jack in the corner of a big red flag. That's the generic flag.
Now then, we have narrowboats and barges. We've got 43 narrowboats, 20 barges out there. And some of these boats are very special, aren't they, Tom?
Yeah, narrowboats are remarkable things because it's easy to imagine. How do you make a narrowboat? Well, in the old days, I suppose you might imagine you make it long, you make it strong, and you saw them off to length. But it's not like that at all. Look at that bow. Look at that closely. Look at the artwork and the careful way it's swept up at the front. That is just so beautiful. And that is what it was all about. A whole folk art developed around these boats. You can see it on the roof of this one. It'd be quite normal to see a few little plant pots and stuff up there because people enjoy them. These are vessels for the inland waterways, for the fields and byways, but they carried the commerce of the land for centuries. Neeltje there, and that's a classic Dutchman. Almost, if she hasn't been a working boat, she certainly looks like one. Her hull has got that lovely Dutch curve to the way it's set up. Sailors call it a shear line, and the Dutch are specialists at it.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the pageant now. These are the passenger boats passing through Tower Bridge on the way to the dispersal area. And there's about 40 passenger boats altogether. Some stately passenger cruisers too. And they're going to be very, very busy, of course, in 53 days' time. I think we worked out when the Olympics start. It's going to be quite a route to some of the Olympic venues, in fact, down at Greenwich. And what was the O2 Arena is now the North Greenwich Arena. And into the City of London, of course, too. But despite the rain, well, we are British. We like a little bit of dampness. But I have to say, one or two people are a little bit more than just being a bit damp. But they're sticking with it in tribute, of course, to this wonderful Diamond Jubilee and, of course, the Queen. The glass-fronted vessel Symphony hosting the musicians from one of the country's most respected orchestras, directed by David Parry. Well, I hope they get a thunderous round of applause because they really do deserve it.